Crew, it's me, Jade. I am the founder of Small Business Growth Club, and I'm so excited to be going live today to celebrate you. We are on the verge of 2025, and I know that this time of year, while it has been incredibly hectic and busy getting us to this point, this time of year does open up space for us to reflect back on 2024 and really explore what were our wins and what were our challenges, and then also to project forward and think, how can you set up your 2025 for success? I know that's the topic on everyone's lips. And even though it's holidays, I know that small business owners, we never sleep. We are always thinking about how to grow our audience, how to serve people, and how to make a positive impact. And I know that our member, Megan, has been connecting with me in the DMs, talking about exactly this. How do I best do that? How do I set up my business for the very best success it can achieve in 2025? And it all starts with one simple thing. I'm not going to gatekeep. I'm not going to hold back on you. It starts with writing it down. It starts with, yes, dreaming, yes, thinking, yes, exploring, yes, having a vision, but all of that is really pointless unless you write it down. And I know this to be a fact because I've got a story to tell you about a book that I've been reading. It's called Goals by Brian Tracy. It is one of the seminal books on productivity and goal setting that you can possibly have. And in that book, Brian refers to a research scenario at Harvard University, where he went and tracked the successful business owners out of the Harvard graduates. And I'll just read you the story here because I think it really is enlightening. The power of writing down your goals was discovered by a Harvard University study. Researchers asked recent Harvard MBA graduates a simple question: had they set any specific goals they wanted to achieve in the future? The researchers discovered that only 13% of the graduates had set clear goals. But of that 13%, just 3% had written the goals down. The rest of the graduates had no goals at all. 10 years later, in 1989, the researchers followed up with the graduates. They made an astonishing discovery that the graduates who had set themselves goals were on average making twice as much money as those who hadn't. A 200% difference between the goal setters and the no goal setters. Crazy, right? As for the graduates who'd written their goals down, on average, they were earning 10 times as much, not just 200%. Why does this simple act of setting goals and writing them down make such a difference? Well, we all know goals provide you with direction and meaning. These are things that many people lack in their lives. And with every goal that you achieve, you feel more confident and capable of tackling even bigger goals in the future. And I know that's what you are all about. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this replay or you're watching it live. You want to tackle even bigger and better goals in 2025 than you have in 2024. So I'm excited for that too. And I've created the exact tool to help you do it because, as Brian discovered, it's all fine and well to have a goal and a vision. But if you don't write it down, then you're unlikely to achieve it. And even beyond that, I would say, and add to his story, in 2025, if you are not writing it down in a digital way. Back in the day, yes, we've all had paper planners, and I absolutely agree with a paper planner. I have a diary. I also have a huge wall-size paper planner, and as well, I have my digital dashboard. And when people ask me, oh, I prefer paper, my answer is great. Don't give up on the paper, but if you want your dreams to come true, the more surfaces that you employ to set your goals, to write your goals, to share your goals, the more likely they are to come true. And think about it. How much time do you actually spend writing down stuff these days? How often do you write down a letter versus how many emails do you send? How often are you texting people on your phone versus how often are you, again, writing things down? The difference between that is out of control. There is no comparison. We are 100% digital creatures. We are always on our computers. And now with the revolution of AI, having your data documented is going to be your source of revenue and your source of wealth in the future. The more you can document digitally today, the more you can reap rewards in the future. So I would challenge you, get yourself online, get your dashboards online, set them up. And I have built the exact tool to help you do this. Inside Small Business Growth Club, it's my mission to anticipate everything you need and then to give it to you. You pay a monthly membership fee, and for that, you don't have to pay for any of these tools, no matter whether it's a Canva template or a ChatGPT tool, or in this case, a Notion template. I have a very small tech stack that I use. I know that in other memberships and places, people are constantly throwing the latest tech tool at you. You need to be on Airtable. You need to be on this. You need to be on that. I have explored them all, and I present to you the very thinnest tech stack possible so that you don't have to spend so much money to get the incredible results that you're seeking. I've done the testing, I've done the investigation, I've come up with a tech stack that works for me, and I highly recommend it to you. But of course, marketing fundamentals apply to every tech stack. So if you have a different productivity tool that you use, great, no worries. But I will say that Notion combines the best of all the other productivity tools that I've used into one. It is the one platform to rule them all. And I love that because I love Trello. I love the board element of Trello. Who doesn't love that? I love the connectivity of Asana. I love the robustness and depth of ClickUp. But hey, you'd have to be on all of those different tools at once if you wanted to get that functionality. And that doesn't work for me. I want one tool. And that's why I choose Notion, because you can get the appearance and the visualization of all these different tools in the one place. So I highly, highly recommend Notion to you. Even if you're not interested in shifting to Notion or moving to Notion, it's great to have a look at it, right? It's great to explore exactly what it looks like, what it can do, and how it could be useful for you in certain ways. Notion is very similar to Airtable. So if you like Airtable, I suspect you're going to like Notion. Notion just is a lot more robust. It's a very robust tool. So it has that going for it. And I've heard the other day when I was looking at some online Notion tutorials, one guy said, Notion has completely replaced his use of Google Suite. So in that respect, if you are using, Microsoft Office or Google Suite, so you're using PowerPoint, you're using Word, you're using Google Docs, you're using Google Slides, Notion can replace all of that into one central tool. So for anyone who likes minimalism, anyone who wants to spend less money and less time, Notion can be that. That's why I've chosen Notion to work with. So what is today all about? Today is all about walking you through this tool that helps you digitally document your 2025. It is a tool called your Ultimate Planner. It's a tool that I've created inside Small Business Growth Club. It's in our online portal. It's in our Facebook group. You can access it at any time and you can create your own version of it. So I'm going to go through today step by step of this tool, why I think it's great. And I'm going to start by just having a look at the tool. And I really want to start right from the basics. So I've kind of shared with you why this tool is important. It's important because it's digitally documenting your goals for 2025. Now I've explored why Notion is important. I think one thing that I haven't touched on why it's in Notion, Notion is monetizable. And this is a really huge, profound factor behind why I'm so into Notion. Notion can be a new revenue stream for you. In the same way that Canva, you can use Canva, you can enjoy the templates, you can customize them. Also, you can then create templates that you use in Canva and you can sell them to other people. It has this monetization element to it that I think is always useful. If you are in small business and you're creating tools that you yourself find useful, well, of course, wouldn't your audience find them useful? If that's the case, you can absolutely do that in Notion. It becomes a new revenue stream for you that you can not only play, not only explore, not only apply to your own business to achieve incredible efficiency and greater revenue. You can also then sell that template or tool to others to help them achieve the same thing. I'm always looking for a way to put more money in your pocket. That's part of what Small Business Growth Club is about. It's about ROI for you. And so Notion is my tool of choice because you can do that. You can create templates and tools that create more money for you. So now we've gone through why do you need to set goals? We've gone through why Notion, and I want to explore really who this is for. This tool is for anyone. It's for coaches, consultants, course creators, virtual assistants, online business managers, fitness instructors, social media managers, marketing strategists, copywriters, web designers, brand consultants, accountants, bookkeepers, financial planners, lawyers, real estate agents, photographers, videographers, event planners, HR consultants, career coaches, leadership trainers, business mentors, wellness practitioners, therapists, life coaches, public speaking coaches, graphic designers, PR consultants, health professionals, content creators, bloggers and podcasters. It's got something in there for everyone. But again, going back to why Notion is so great, you can completely customize this template that I have provided. You can change every element of it, from the colors, the headings, to the way it's displayed, to the organization of it. Notion is a completely configurable tool. And now, while that is great functionality, I also find that can really bamboozle people. They can get really blown up, like really overwhelmed straight away. Wow, this is so customizable. I'm going to change one thing and then they ruin it. And so my tip to you is, when you're creating this tool, is create two versions of it. So when you see this tool, when you access this tool, and I'll share the link with you now online so you can access the Ultimate Planner that I'm talking about, it is accessible simply as a website. So the one great thing about Notion is you can look at templates and they are simply act as websites. You can click through them, you can explore their functionality, and all it is a website for viewing, right? Which is really nice. It's a no stress, no hassle way to view a document, exactly like you would as a normal website. So let me share the link with you so you can view this tool that I'm talking about now, your Ultimate Planner. Your Ultimate Planner link. Here we go. Oh, we've got some people here. We've got Amanda in the house. Happy holidays, Amanda. Welcome. Happy Sunday, Francis. Nice to see you. I'm sorry, guys. It wasn't refreshing. I couldn't see your comments till just then. Roseanne says, nice to see you. Nicole says, you're amazing, Jade. You just keep giving. That's kind of you. Thank you. It is so worth investing a couple of hours to learn Notion. It really does support so many activities. Yes, Marianne, I love, and I name checked Marianne at the beginning. I love your enthusiasm for Notion. Honestly, look, like I said, it has got functional elements of a lot of different tools, but the way Notion combines them into one is really helpful, right? Because I think we've all explored various versions of, Monday.com or Trello or ClickUp or Asana, and we've all liked parts of it. But the fact is, in Notion, you can kind of take those parts that you did enjoy and then create your own version of it, which is really fun. Now, again, that can be overwhelming. So what I would advise when you're starting to play with Notion, you're starting to explore Notion, just open the link as a website, right? And don't even think I have to change something. It's just like looking at a Canva doc as a document, right? Just looking at it as a PDF and just thinking, okay, let me have a look at this. And today, really, that's what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to take you through the lay of the land of this document. And it's arranged around 5 key pillars. And please just consider, okay, I like the look of this. This is interesting. How would I use this? And think about, yes, this is exactly the same things as you've always done in Google Suite or in PowerPoint or in Google Sheets. You've done all of this stuff before in different places. But the fact is it's had to be kind of spread over multiple documents and multiple folders. Whereas what I want to give you is one dashboard to rule them all. And this is an amazing promise. I hope you can see the promise of my vision, but also please give yourself time and space to bring this to life. Because I remember when I was first starting out and I had to adopt an accounting system, I thought, oh, I need to get on Xero. This was my accounting system that I'd been trying. I need to get on Xero. I thought it was going to take me a month, right? It took me 9 months to get on Xero, which is pretty straightforward. It seems pretty straightforward. It seems like something's going to happen overnight, but that's how long it took. And I want to extend the same grace to you when you're thinking of, I need to have my dashboard ready. I need to have my life done on Notion. I want to extend the grace to you and understanding that it will take time. And I want you to give yourself that time as well. And I also want to give you the space to think Notion might not be the right tool for you. With all of these tools, we really only learn by diving into them, applying, and seeing if they fit with us, right? Notion is the tool that works best for me, but obviously the template, the foundations here are fundamental across all different tools. And if you so like, you can take a screenshot of it and then replicate it in Google Docs. No big deal, right? What I've done is I've collated all the various documents and bits and bobs that I have all over the shop, over all the templates and years that I've spent doing this, and I've put them into one place. And also this year, we're combining them with the AI tools as well. And we're doing this in a way that is not overwhelming for you, but is useful for you. And so that you can have one eye forward. If I was you, Marianne, if I was you, Roseanne, if I was you, Francis, I would be thinking, okay, Jade's done this. How do I do this? How do I create a tool like this or some element of this for my audience? How do I use it as a lead magnet to get them in? Because we all know checklists, calendars, workshops, guides, they all make great lead magnets. How can we use them for our audience? And then the next step is, how could I charge for this? How could I create a lead magnet that's so freaking amazing, that's so hot, that so does everything my audience needs that I can start to charge for it? And slowly having that eye on monetization, that none of your effort is ever wasted. Every hour you spend learning Notion or learning this new tool, it's coming back to you in the form of ROI. It's coming back to you in the form of investment. And that's not something you can say about every productivity tool, right? It's not something you can do in Asana. You can only really do this in Notion. So that's why I'm so excited about it. Now, I can see a few people. Holler at me in the chat if you're around. I'd love to make this session interactive. I'd love to make it as useful for you as possible. If you have any questions, like I said, I've shared the link to the tool. So without further ado, why don't I just open the dashboard so you can see it? And then from that point, we can start to walk through it, right? That's what you came here for. You came here to see the Notion dashboard. Let me take you through it and let's explore what it's all about. So like I said, it's a living document. It's a living dashboard. My first tip is just have a look at it as a website. My second tip is, I forget what my second tip is. My second tip is, duplicating it to your own Notion account. I would create 2 versions, right? and give yourself again permission to just completely trash the first version, right? I think we all have this experience with Canva. We see a beautiful template that we love, and then all of a sudden we dive into it and just like completely destroy it. We're like, the font doesn't work, or it doesn't make sense with my logo or my branding or whatever. That's okay, right? Give yourself permission to this session, walk through it with me. And then when you go to use it yourself, just give yourself permission to trash it. You'll probably destroy it. Who cares? If you have two versions of it, you can always go back to the original version, duplicate that again, and start all over again, right? Don't feel like you have to get things perfect from the first time you see something. So I'm going to share my screen. I'd love to know if you're watching along, if you want to share, if you holler at me in the chat, I would love to know if you're around and if you're seeing what I'm seeing. So let me just go here. I'm going to pull this out here. I'm going to go to Zoom. It's gone. The comments have gone again. It's like the comments bounce in and off. I like see them and then they all come in a clump. So hopefully they're all there for you and you guys are seeing the comments. But I'll jump out over here and hopefully I'll see some of your comments because I want to make sure that you're around and you're watching as well. So here we go. Lily says, "Thank you, Jade. I honestly feel overwhelmed with all tools and have not found one that works with my brain. This makes me feel more normal and less than." Yeah, absolutely, Lily. I want to give you permission to destroy it, and then I want to give you permission to play with it and have fun with it. And also just think about the small elements that might work for you, right? You don't have to love all of it. You might think like, that's not for me. That's not for me. Oh, but I really like her client tracker. That's actually something I could use. And then I could adjust it. And then I could perhaps share it with my audience as a gift for them to start the new year, right? So I hope that that's kind of the way that your brain is thinking. Hello, lovely, says Catherine Crane. Welcome, Catherine. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much, everyone who's hollering at me in the chat. I really appreciate it. Like I said, Marianne kind of inspired me to get back into Notion and to share Notion with you. And I really want to say shout out to Marianne. Thank you for your enthusiasm for Notion, right? Because I love this tool, but sometimes, alone in small business land, and I am completely like all of you. I just, I lose, not that I ever lost enthusiasm for it, but it's really nice to hear that you're finding it useful as well, right? That really makes me happy because it makes me feel like I'm sharing something of value to you that is actually lightening your load. And anyone who's worked with me for a little while knows that my motto and my mission is to lighten your load. That's my daily goal. So I love hearing that. Now let's jump on and share screens. So I'm going to share my screen here. We've got Isabel in the house. Welcome, Isabel. I hope it's not too hot in steamy northern far north Queensland. You're up in Townsville, so I'm thinking of you. I hope you're doing well and your family's well. Thank you for joining us. I have shared the link to the Best Year Ever tool, and we're going to go through it together. So this is it. It's the Notion tool. And like I said, you can love bits of it. You can love all of it. You can love none of it. You can just explore Notion and think that it's good for you. I'm going to try and set up my desktop so I can see your beautiful comments as they are coming out. Feel free to holler at me. Here we go. There's Isabel. So having a look at this tool, what do you see first straight away? Well, first of all, we see this top header. And first of all, we see up here that we've got this duplicate button. So like I said, I'm going to take you through this tool today, and I'm just going to go through it as a website because I think that's what you should do, right? Before we kind of like dive in and start changing things, why don't we just have a look at how it works? And again, I want to give you permission to do this. You might have a good look at it and be like, no, this is not for me. This isn't how my brain works. And good on you because you've then discovered that about Notion or about this particular template. But it might be for you, and then we can go then and duplicate it at the end, and we can see how it could work for you. If you do want to duplicate it to your account, it's very simple. So Notion is a free tool. You can sign up. I'll share the link here to sign up to Notion if you haven't used it ever before. Let me just grab the link for you. So Marianne has said something beautiful because she's a beautiful soul. She said, "You're welcome, Jade, and your planner more than lightens the load. It's got potential to 100x productivity and bring more clarity into the year ahead." I love that you see that. That makes me so happy to hear. And I really do believe in it as a tool and Notion itself as a platform, that it helps simplify things. I think it has a beautiful aesthetic to it that gives you a bit of space. And I love to think about the different ways that you could apply it specifically, and also everyone on this call and everyone in the Growth Club, right? You have a different way of using things. Isabel is an artist. Of course, you're going to use it differently than I use it as a marketing manager. Lily, you have your community with personal branding. What are they struggling with? What do they need to see? And how could you pull out elements of this that could be useful to them? I hope you have time to play with it. I hope you don't feel pressure about it. I hope that it is a source of creative play and digital play, and it's fun. So I'm just going through and I'm having a look for this link for you. So give me 2 seconds. If you do not have a Notion account, I highly recommend that you sign up. Like I said, Notion is a lot like Canva. So there's the free standard account that anyone can sign up for, or you can have a paid account where you start to use it more professionally. And to share with you guys completely transparently, this is an affiliate link because I use Notion across all of my businesses. So I have 2 businesses and I have built our entire team dashboards, and the way we communicate and collaborate is all in Notion. So it's in one tool. We don't have things scattered across Google Docs. We don't have things, some in Asana, some in Google Docs, trying to integrate them. We have it all in Notion. And again, that's the power of this tool. It's the one dashboard to rule them all. So I've just shared the Notion link there to sign up for an account. If you are looking at the page and you want to get started, you want to duplicate this and start making it your own, you just head up to here to the duplicate button. And what that does, very much like the Canva, grabbing a Canva template, it takes this template and it will take it from the website where it is now and it will duplicate it into your own personal account. And it will take some time to do that because this is such a big template. It's not just a one-page template like some of the templates I have. This has depth to it. And so it will take a little bit of time. That's why I'm not going to do it straight away. But that's how you do it if you do need to do it. You do need a free Notion account to do that. It's not going to work otherwise. So highly recommend you set up your Notion account, duplicate this to your space, your workspace, and then duplicate it again. So you've got one version that you can trash and then another version that's clean that you can start again with after your trash version. That's what I recommend. So starting here ever, it's called your best year ever. As you can see straight away with the header here, it's called if we want rich, successful energy. This is completely customizable. You can change that header to whatever you want. And inside the document, it's got all the templates to do that. We can dive into the instructions here. It goes through exactly our motto, which is what gets planned gets done. Let's probably delete that. That's probably a bit of shonky punctuation there. We're talking about, then we're going through why this tool, why Notion, who is this for, and what's in this tool. And really, we're looking at the main dashboard and the various elements of it. And here to customize this document, we've got all the links to all the elements to customize it. So you can customize the page banners, the word of the year, the sections, and the welcome sign. So this is the welcome sign here. You can change that to be like your photo, right? You can change this to be your logo and your brand. Like I said, if you want to take parts of this template, you want to monetize it and sell it yourself, then you need to have all the elements to do that. And that's all included inside this document as well. So let's go through the homepage and what do we see? First of all, on the left-hand side, we've got a whole bunch of quick capture stuff. Oh, it's going to say that I don't have permission to run this button. Look, maybe I'm going to have to give you the duplicate version because it's going to take some time. Instead, let me just go to here and I'll grab my duplicated version so we can run it there. It's telling me that some elements aren't visible as just viewing them. And I might kind of want to show you the functionality. So let me just grab my version of it, which is over here. It's in the shared. It's in the shared template section. It's this one here, best year ever. Yes, here we go. So this is my version. So we've got some quick capture buttons here. You can quickly add tasks. They do exactly what they say they're going to do. Tasks, you can add a bookmark, you can add a password, you can add a journal, or you can add a goal. These are quick capture elements because in case you really want to get something done, you can do it quickly. Now, one other great thing about Notion is that it has an amazing app. So once you've duplicated this to your space, your own personal space, I highly recommend checking out the Notion app and accessing it there so that you can see how powerful and easy it is on the app. And one of the great things about this particular template in the app is that these quick capture buttons are right at the top because they are the tasks that you're going to do repeatedly that you might need a bit of help with, and you don't want to have to go diving through the whole template to make it useful for you. And like I said, you might just want to use this as a task manager. You might want to just chuck in some tasks that you have to do, and so you can use that. And so Notion really becomes a way to replace the Notes app on your phone, right? Who here is just using their Notes app for all their junk, like all their family stuff? They're using it for their recipes. You're using it for your business stuff. And it's completely non-searchable, right? It's just it just gets trapped in notes and never is useful to you next time around, or when you want to talk about that to someone, or when you want to share it with someone, or you want to sell that to someone. You can't do it because it's not searchable. Whereas inside Notion and inside this document, everything becomes searchable. Everything becomes reusable and repurposable for the next year. So that's, again, what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build a depository of your wealth of information, your IP, so that you can come back to it and reuse it again and again. That's a big part of this mission, is to build your second brain. Marianne has shared an incredible free tutorial, helpful, so good. I highly recommend it. Love that you've shared that. Lily says, oh my God, the notes and reminder apps. Absolutely, Lily. Not organized, not in a central place, not in a way you can reconfigure them either. Like they're all just lost, single pages. So Notion absolutely has that functionality of being like a post-it engine. You can just post-it stuff around. Just tap the quick capture buttons and you can start a new page. It is very much like Google Docs. Your new page is just here. I've given you some basic like elements that you can add to it, because this is essentially adding tasks to your list, right? So it's a page, but it becomes your new task. And what happens once you add that task is like, where does it go, Jade? Well, that's important you asked. It goes here to the bottom of the page where we have your master task list. So again, on this front home page, like let's put it back to basics, people. We just usually have a bunch of stuff to do each day, right? We want to be able to capture that stuff and then we want to be able to tick it off. We don't need to, this isn't rocket science. You're either doing this in, a post-it note, a diary, or you can do it in here. And so we're just replicating that same basic functionality. So please don't feel overwhelmed by Notion. Please feel that, it's really easy to access. What is really cool about Notion is that you can view things in different ways. So instead of viewing it like a table, which, we love, you can also view it via content calendar. So you can see what's coming up. You can also see it by priority. It will chuck it into automatically different views. And so again, this is one of the really incredible features of Notion that just like Trello that has these beautiful boards that you can come back to, you can also do this in Notion. So that is the power. Remember how I said how it replaces Trello? This is how it does it, by giving you the ability to create task lists and checklists, but then instantly switch to the different views so you can use them and view them in a different way that suits you best. So let me know if that is interesting to you. We can see it as a calendar view. Awesome. We can see it by priority, which is the board view, or we can see it as simply a list, which is the more Excel spreadsheet view. So that is one of the huge benefits of Notion. So let's go through and have a look now that we've had a look at the quick capture. We've got some quick links here. And again, these are just links you can add, as yourself. This is completely customizable. This one takes us to the goals section. You can add in any kind of links that you want here. We've got a little affirmation. You might want to replace this with, some kind of words of inspiration. Or I saw that Molly Benjamin, the founder of Ladies Finance Club, had, she put up on her phone screen her goal for, make 500K in 2025, and she'd put that up on her phone screen so that every single time she opened her phone she saw those words or that affirmation. And again, the more surfaces you can put your goals, the more places you can document what you're trying to do, the more that they're going to come to life, right? So for me, it's not about physical diary versus digital versus phone versus laptop. It's like the more I can put them up, obviously physically, obviously digitally, the better it's going to be. And I think, having that functionality is awesome. So you can put your affirmation there. We've got a short little, on this side of the screen, we've got the due today list. So after you enter things into your task list, you can then add a due date to them. And then on that due date, they will arrive up here at the top. So you can see that, whatever's coming today is coming today. So for us, we've got our content that's scheduled today, and we can click straight into that and we can find out exactly what it means, exactly what we need to do, and whatever's going on here. So that's like a content piece that needs to go live. We also kind of want to have just a space where you can like write stuff. So it doesn't have to be like content coming from somewhere else. It's not part of a database. It's just stuff like this week I've got to, pack for Naruma or whatever it is. So you might want to add it over here in the weekly reminders. So we can just jump in here and edit that, though it is kind of giving me a bit of grief about that. So let me just jump into here for you. It's giving me a little bit of grief about that. So let me just go here and get for you sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've flipped into the wrong version. I flipped into the web version as opposed to the edit version. So give me 2 seconds. I'll open the right version. Here we are. This is the right one. I think because when I went forward and went back, I went out of it. This is the one here. So for this week, for example, it might be like, I'm going to Naruma tomorrow. So it might be something like pack for Naruma. So like I said, you can edit any part of this. You can delete it. You can change it. This is stuff where you can do that. Like you said, you can do it on your phone. And then we've got your daily routine. I know that people love to have a morning routine. I am reading Robin Sharma's book right now, which is the 5 a.m. Club. If you've ever read it, you know the power of having routines, having habits. I mean, James Clear's Atomic Habits is such a powerful best-selling book. If you've ever wanted to adopt a routine, well, writing down what that routine looks like can be really helpful. And then having a checklist as to, I did that routine. And this checklist will update each day. You can define elements that you want to have each day. But like we said, we all know that it's through small daily steps that real change happens. And so I really want to enable you to structure your routine. I know for me, meditation is on my list this year of something I want to bring into my daily life. And how do I make that happen? Well, I don't just think about it and imagine it happening. I write it down as to how I think it's going to happen. So for me, if I was going to edit this, I would say, let's add a new bit. I would say meditation, morning meditation. I'd add it to that. And then I would, let's say I probably add open it and then try and think if I can add a little icon there to it, which would be really cute. So I wonder if we add a little icon there. We can click here and have a look there. I think we have to go find an icon. So for me, I would do press Control, Command, Space, and then we can access the icons here. And I would put a little, I don't know, like a resting yoga person. I'm pretty sure there's a resting yoga person in here. I'm just going to grab them. For me, I really love the icons. I'm all about like the imagery just to help, I don't know, make it fun and accessible. I'm like, I have to find the perfect icon. And I do know that there's a yoga person in here who is chilling. Where is she? Like they're always there, but when you need them, you can never find them. I'll just put the prayer hands. There we go. Yay. There we go. Morning meditation. Awesome. So now it's on my list. There, I've got a page for it. Now I can check it off. So there we go. We can have stuff there. And then finally, we're getting to the meat and potatoes of the document. And it is here. And let me know if you guys are hollering in the comments because I can't see any comments. The last one I see is from 7 minutes ago. So let me know if you're still around in the comments. I want to make sure that I'm answering your questions and not missing anything that you're after. Let me just put this here. Let me just shut this down over here. I think you guys are around. So now we're heading to the functional part of this document. And it's all about these 5 pillars. When it comes to setting up your 2025, there are 5 essential elements that you want to have mapped out. And I want to just dive into them straight away. First of all, still here and loving what you're showing. Thank you, Francis. Aisha, loving to see you. I know you were super organized when it comes to diaries for writing things down. Please feel free to share your links to your journals and how you support business owners with those physical books. I know you do it so well. And yeah, I hope that Notion or this document can be another opportunity to document that same thing. So when it comes to 2025, the first thing we want to look at is your vision, right? This is where it comes to the freewheeling overview. And it's really different from goals because for me, goals get really specific. Goals are only useful if they're specific, durable, actionable, relevant, and time-based, right? We all know about SMART goals. We've all heard that a million times. But I still want to have a place before we get to goals where you don't have to have those, specificness. It doesn't have to be very hectic and all actionable and executable. We want to have space for dreaming. We want to have space for just imagining. So that's what the vision section is for. It's opening up your imagination to what's possible. The next section we have in this document is strategy. And this is where we think about not just ourselves, but we think about the person on the other side of the screen. We think about our customer. And if I had to spotlight one huge problem I see with business owners everywhere, the biggest problem I see is that they do not think about their customer before they go and take action. Right? This has happened again and again. I am guilty of it. I'm just as guilty as everyone else. Who is your ideal customer? What are they struggling with? What's in their head? What is, their problems, their challenges? When we do that and do that due diligence, do that research, then we can set ourselves up for having great goals and taking great action. So I hope you guys can see that. Aisha says, thank you, Jade. Love this walkthrough Notion. I signed up earlier this year, but didn't do anything about it. Can't wait to play with this tonight. Awesome. I'm so excited for you to dive in. A question, can you put 2 businesses in one? Yes, you can. So I have all my businesses run out of Notion. If you go over here, you can see I have different team spaces. So I have our Small Business Growth Club team space here, which is how I manage the club, versus my photo team space, which is how I manage all my photography clients. So all of my businesses are run out of this one tool, but they have very different dashboards the way they use. And so you could do this as well with 2 different team spaces. And by duplicating this document, if you so want, into those 2 different places, or like we said, you can pull out elements of the document and create your own version of it. So yes, the answer is yes. So we've gone through strategy. We've touched on goals. We're going to get there. Finally, we head to content. And this is where I have mapped out every single day of 2025 with done for you content. I'm talking captions, I'm talking ideas, I'm talking videos, I'm talking everything you could ever want. And best of all, did I tell you Notion has AI built into it? So you don't have to cut and paste from ChatGPT. You can do it all inside Notion. And even better than that, you could just give this to your VA and say, hey, this is my ideal customer. This is what they are struggling with. These are the content ideas in this document. You go ahead and create the captions, write the things, use this photo, do this stuff, and you bring it to life. You do my content entirely because this document pulls together all those elements so that you can outsource that entirely. Amazing. And finally, the final section of this document is your resources where you can put links and clumps of Canva tools and Canva. Who's got a Canva that's packed full of a million different things? When you go ahead to give that VA access to everything, they're going to need to know your passwords. They're going to need to know your links. They're going to need to know all your Canva documents and graphics that you've been using. And that's a space where you can add all that information in resources so that it's there for them eternally, so they can use it so that you don't have to constantly be giving them access or telling them where to go to find it. So will you talk more to not needing to go to ChatGPT? Can we use your resources direct in here? Yes, Lily, I've embedded my resources direct in here. That's a really interesting question. Look, I think for me, it's about convenience. So the way I use Notion is if I'm inside of Notion and I'm doing writing in Notion, like I always am, because I'm always drafting my emails in here. I'm doing creating my captions and stuff in here. I will often go to ChatGPT because they have my tools in them. But if I need a quick summary or a quick rewrite or something's not fitting right, I will use the Notion AI tools. And so the language model that Notion is built upon is a mix of ChatGPT and Claude. And it has that similar kind of feel to it. So it's not foreign. It's like their cousin. So it's kind of like, what's closer, right? It's like you're in the kitchen cooking and, if you desperately need like a ladle and it's over there, you'll go get it. But if a spatula will do and it's right there, you can just use the spatula. Just gives you options. And I like having options. So with that in mind, let's go into the vision section. Like I said, this section is all about your dreams and having that space to imagine before you dive in and get all practical about things. Both are needed and necessarily. At the top of every page, we have a definition of what you'll find on that page, which is awesome. Like I said, each one of these elements you could duplicate, you could add it to another thing, and you could start to do something completely different with it. So I hope you see that functionality. Let's go through it. So the first of all is your vision board. Hands up who loves a good vision board. I have seen lots of people offer templates for vision boards in Canva, which I love. But the thing with Canva is, what do? You create that vision board and then you have to import it somewhere else to keep it top of mind, right? Whereas if this is your daily diary and your daily planner, then it's right here. It's right here visually. So you can see that each of these little blocks are pages that I've created with a cover. You can change the cover, you can change the text on either one of them, but I've mapped out blocks so that you can list your vision for each of these things in your life, your education, your lifestyle, your travel and adventure, your business, etc. Lovely, beautiful. You could take this element out and you could apply it for Francis. Maybe you take out this vision board, you do it for midlife women specifically, and then you give it to your community and say, hey guys, I've done a vision board for you for 2025. Like, great, there you go. Like it's got all the links to menopausal podcasts that you listen to or menopausal resources that you're going to explore or, ways that you're going to go on holidays with your family. I don't know. It's just something you could think of doing. Lily, Jade's Planner has the ChatGPT link stored, so you can click on them to go to ChatGPT, then come back with a pasted copy. It gives them a home to store it in the Notion Planner. I hope that makes sense. Yes, exactly. So Lily, yes, Marianne has answered your question. Notion has its own AI inside it and ChatGPT is separate. So they're two different windows, two different tools. They're not like magically linked. You would do them in different places, but it's very much like a cut and paste job. That's how you'd get the stuff in there. That's the kind of way that it works. Let's dive on from vision board. We've got a book tracker. You can map out the books that you've read in 2024 plus the books that you want to read in 2025. Again, a book tracker is really useful and important at this time of year. I'd love to see Marianne's books that you recommend that you read in 2024. A lot of people over this time of year, they create their best of book list. And this is a really nice visual way to do it. You could create your best of book list. You could screenshot that and then you could share it on LinkedIn and say, hey guys, I just did my best of 2024 book list. This is what I've got. When you change the view, you can get a more portrait kind of visual of it. I'd love to know what you guys think. So again, just helping it be useful and creative. Then we head to a business audit. Take time out at the start of the year in order to align your personal motivation, core values, ideal customer and transformation offering you have for them. So what's the fundamental mission of my business? So what you could say is, if you are, and I just recently did this, hands up who's done the 16 personality test. I like to do it at the start of every year. And what I'm doing this year is I'm taking that information about myself and I'm starting to embed it inside ChatGPT to build little bots and engines that can start to apply my lens to news and to information and to things that are coming at me so that at first glance I can have a bot that automatically does treatments of things based on who I am. So holler at me if you know 16 personalities. I think it's really fun little test to do. Let me know. I'll just share the link with you here. Like I said, I do it at the start of every year and I often get my family to do it as well. I've been doing it with my kids and it helps me understand everything so much better. So holler at me. Marianne says, too many books, I'd break Notion. That's because you're a legend. I'd love to see your book list. I think that'd be super fun. I'm sure you have a podcast list as well. You could duplicate that section and create your podcast list. Again, like documenting your IP becomes the foundation of a sellable thing, right? A monetizable thing. Whereas if you just have your podcast on iTunes or whatever, you can't really share that list with anyone or do anything with it. So it's starting to document and create the future of your wealth is really understanding who you are and what you do. And I really see that's the whole second brain project. I'm sure, Marianne, you're familiar with that. But this is what I'm seeing Notion become, is it's becoming a repository for my second brain. And so I'm like using these tools to very specifically do that. So for example, I did my personality test the other day and I came in as a ENFP. So where are we? No surprise. I'm the not INFJ. I am the ENFP here over here. I am the campaigner. So what I'm doing is I'm starting to take, for example, like this. This is like could be my values, for example. I could chuck them in here. What does this value mean to me? Chuck it in here, and then we can select this, and we can get like Notion AI to create a summary version of it. So we could say, improve this writing. It'll just straight away do it, blah, 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 which is cool. Then we can accept it. So it automatically does it. You don't have to prompt it. Or we could get Notion AI to change it a little bit for us. So ask AI. So we could say, make it shorter, which is really nice. Simplify, change tone, make it longer. So if we wanted to use this, for example, say, Lily, you wanted to describe who you are and then use it in a promotional post, right? You might want to make it sound more confident. So we can go ahead and we can get Notion to do that. However, it is charged. So Notion AI is free to access, but then they will charge you. So I've been using it now and then, but clearly I've been using it a bit too much because I've run out of free AI responses. So I guess that answers your question as well, Lily. It's like, do you want to use Notion AI or ChatGPT? Well, Notion AI has limited responses under the free plan versus ChatGPT has greater responses if you're after that. So anyway, that's how you can use Notion AI inside the tool. So let's close that. And then it goes through and asks you a whole bunch of different questions. You can document your transformation offer, your strategy. You can document all your products. So if you've got a link, again, having all your products documented is really good if you're going to pass this on to a VA. You can also document in here your brand hub. Again, if you are working with someone else and you want to give them your logo. I know Nicole recently gave me her logo, her fonts, her colors. You could also have them documented in here so you can give them to someone else, or you can embed it in a Notion document and give them the Notion document as well. So obviously you have your brand hub in Canva, but here is a way to have those same elements captured that you can kind of share with anyone else in a different way as well, because you can't really share your brand hub with people in Canva. It's more embedded inside that and you use it. Whereas inside Notion, you could take that and then share it with others. So let me know if that's interesting for you. Catherine says, we change year to year. I love the personality test. Marianne says, great ideas. And then finally on this vision page, we have journaling space. Now, journaling is really interesting. Hands up who does regular journaling. I reckon, Marianne, you're going to be our only candidate. But I've always been intrigued by this idea of digital journaling and really writing down exactly what I'm thinking. And this is what this space is for. So it's kind of like creating space to have your gratitude list, your reflection list, your highlights, your goals and aspirations, and creating space for you to have that digitally shared and stored so you can come back to it. So your writing and your thoughts are not lost, that you can come back to it over the year when you have those good ideas, especially when you're forward thinking, you're thinking, hey, in July, it's coming up with, the end of financial year. I want to have a new product to offer for then. I'm going to get Catherine to join me as a master class to come and do that. And then kind of syncing these things all up so that that great brainwave isn't lost in notes. It's documented here and you can turn it into a task or a tool or something that you follow up at a later date. I think that's awesome. So that's what we have here. So Lily says me. So we have gone through vision. Like I said, vision is the part where you give yourself freewheeling access to imagine and to dream. Whereas strategy, we start to get a little bit more focused on your ideal customer. So for me, when I was building this tool and when I was launching everything that I'm doing in January, I used my favorite tool, my favorite AI tool, which is Customer Finder, all over again. And Lily, you were mentioning how does this integrate with ChatGPT? Well, it does just simply through links. This is the Customer Finder tool. I highly, highly recommend running this again and again. I run Customer Finder at least once a day, I reckon. I either run it for myself or I run it for my customers to understand who are they trying to serve? Who are they trying to sell to? So when I'm talking to my customer, I can frame my costs in terms of the return they're going to get from their customer, which is so powerful. Let me know if you understand what I'm talking about. But I learned this from my coach. You know, whenever a customer comes to you, all they want to do is find out your rates, right? They just want to find out your rates and then they want to compare you to other people. Whereas what I'm doing more of is I'm instantly kind of framing who I am and what I do in terms of what I help them earn. So that completely changes the conversation around rates, around costs, and it completely blows their mind because I've taken the time to understand who are they focused on. So for example, Liz in our club, she's a fertility coach. Her understanding the types of customers that she works with. So she works with doctors, she works with other coaches, she works with allied health professionals. Her being able to understand what her clients are facing, the challenges they're facing, and then to be able to have her rates pitched in against that. For example, if she's working with a pharmaceutical doctor and she can help them, offer a masterclass to their patients, then of course she can charge far more than if she was kind of working with, another small fertility operator, right? So when she can start to see that and start to create language and speak to that, she can start to charge so much more for what she does. And so Customer Finder is amazing for that. And I hope that you are well versed in Customer Finder, that you are using it a lot. Customer Finder gives you the chance to document your ideal customer avatar, your content pillars. I know everyone is always asking, what are my content pillars? I need to be reminded of my content pillars a million times a day. It also comes up with your 30-day content calendar. And here we can include your products again. So how are your products directly aligned with solving problems for this person? That's a really big deal. And it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be stressful, but having this documented. Remember the story I told you at the start? 13% of people write down their 13% of people have goals, 3% of people write them down. And it's the same with your customer, right? 13% of your other small business owners are thinking about their customer, but only 3% of those people are writing down what their customer is facing and then how they solve that, what your content pillars are, because they're your transformation, right? That's the transformation that you offer. Customer Finder is one of my favorites. Thank you, Francis. I'm so glad you like it. So Lily says you do once for us and once for them. Yes, Lily, I do it like that. Yes, I absolutely do like that. So for example, for Lily, like for you, I would be, and this is exactly what I do. So I would go and find your clients on LinkedIn and I would go and find out what they are struggling with. So who's an example that I can do this for? For example, who's someone who I know their clients are? I'm just having a think about in my recent client list, who would fit this. For example, I know that some of my clients, if we go to LinkedIn, so what I do, I basically go to LinkedIn and I pull in the bio of their client and I run Customer Finder for them. So for example, if I know one of my customers is Nicole McClanahan. It's not coming up with her name, is it? Or what about this? So Nicole, I can give you a very quick, clear example from our own Nicole Turnbull. So for example, Nicole Turnbull, right? Wonderful Nicole Turnbull, incredible Nicole Turnbull. She's speaking at the Psychosocial Safety Summit, right? So for her, I'm looking to provide Nicole photo and video services for her Psychosocial Safety Summit. But if I can help Nicole sell 10% more tickets with my photo and video services, well, of course, they're going to be so much more valuable for Nicole. So what I could do is I could run Customer Finder on some of Nicole's customers. So I could go through, have a spook around. LinkedIn is really good for this, spooking around Nicole's posts, finding out who her customers are or who she serves and understanding more about them. So how do we do that? We go to Nicole's stuff. We have a look at who she's reposting. Then we go to their stuff. For example, Alana Ball is a speaker at Nicole's event. I also know that I could do work for Alana Ball, right? Or I could help Nicole have a better relationship with Alana Ball, Women in Safety, by understanding more about what Women in Safety does, who they serve, and what they're doing. So what I would do is I would go to Alana Ball's bio here. I would take that and I would chuck that into Customer Finder and I would run it and understand more about what Alana's pain points are. And then I would help say to Nicole, hey, Nicole, I can help you connect better with Alana and I can help you serve Alana and solve her problems that are time constraints, cost justification, and doubt in effectiveness. We can do this by using our photos and videos to answer her questions that she has about booking you as a speaker. So it really does help you justify to your clients why they need to pay you top dollar or why you're worth it. And then because it will help them get more business from their clients. And I think this answers their pain points a lot. So let me know if that makes sense to you. And of course, we can record your own responses. We can also duplicate this section. So we can say duplicate this, and then we have another duplicate of it. We can record all your responses for your clients or whatever. You can do that all really easily in Notion. So I'm going to delete that there. The next section in this document is your goals section. So finally, we've gotten to goals. I know everyone is obsessed with goals and they really want to focus on them. I hope you can see how we've set up your goals so that it's not just like plucking things out of the air. It's helping you cement your goal around serving your ideal customer and around your own vision for yourself. So in here, we've got some big questions for you. Your word of the year, your big vision, your non-negotiables. Again, we always hear work around boundaries, but how are we writing them down to make sure that we hold to them and we stick to them? So then we've got your business goals in here. And again, this part of the document, we start to get into more of a financial Google Sheets style document where we get to put your specific goals that you want to do. Here's where we're taking action. And here's where we can start to add a status of them. We can also start to document their progress. We can also start to document the plan that's going to help you get there. Remember those SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Thinking about how do we do those goals? Well, first of all, we need to have those specific goals. Secondly, we need to write them down. And thirdly, we need to break them down into their chunks to get us there. So goals that people might have this year, you might have the goal of writing a book, right? How do you do that? Well, you're going to have to break it down month by month. And here's where you can do that in this plan section. And then how do you break that down week by week? How do you make that part of your daily habit? You bring that into the front page and you start to track how you're progressing against that. And so here we have a progress bar to help keep you motivated to head towards that goal. So I hope you can see, launching a business planner was one of my goals. And here we are now having it done already. So this is a space where we can get really specific about that. Thanks. For client one, would you put in and tell ChatGPT not to remember it so it doesn't interfere with our ones? So inside my custom instructions in ChatGPT, Lily, I have it very specifically mentioned. Where's my custom instructions? I think it's over here. I have specifically told ChatGPT who I am and what I do, and I kind of sell it, I tell it in here. I always serve other small business owners. And so inside my ChatGPT Lily is an absolute mess of a million other business owners. And I've never had any problem with it remembering who I am and what I do because I have given it that custom instruction that very clearly defines me. So I don't think it's a problem. And I highly recommend that you set up your custom instructions to outline, what your business is and what you do versus, how you're serving others as well. So yeah. Heading back to goals. Business goals is awesome. Your master task list is in here as well. This is the same master task list that's on the front page. So we have it kind of accessible through multiple ports inside this dashboard to make it easy for you. We also have your daily routine in here. This was the same one again that was on the front page. You can see how the morning meditation is here that I added on the front page. The front page really is that quick access menu, whereas here is kind of the home for all these elements. So again, you can kind of pull out elements from the inside this dashboard and you can put them on the front page as you find them useful. But I guess this is one of my favorite spots in the whole document here is leads and clients, because hands up, who has ever connected with someone at a networking event or a speaking opportunity and they were a really good lead or opportunity for you, but you forget to follow them up, right? This is something that I'm getting really much better at next year. I'm going to document my leads, right? So I'm going to put them in here. I've got a client section as well where we can start to look at the different projects that we're working on. And finally, the project element where I can start to, just that space where I'm thinking of before they become like full onboarded, we have a space in here to really document these different people and what we could do with them. And Nicole, for example, let's give it a really practical example. Nicole has a bunch of speakers at her event that I should work with, right? Because all of those speakers need a speaker show reel. They all need photos of themselves. And it's so hard for me to keep them top of mind to understand that I need to create basically a little package for each one of those speakers. So we have Helen, we have John, we have Blady, we have Carolyn. And what I will do in this document using this is I will write down Helen, John, Blady, and I will use it to kind of set up these pre-client work, which I find is really missing in my workflow because yes, I have tons of onboarding stuff, like once they become clients, but I don't really have a space where I can use them as leads and nurture them as leads. So for that, for me, is really useful. Nicole Satomo says, and they love you. Thank you, Nicole. You're so kind. I mean, I really want to serve them better. And I know that it's been on my list to build these packages. So I'm excited to have this space to keep them top of mind in 2025 going forward. This is the space to kind of document those packages that it's not paid work. It's not like I'm not getting paid for them, but I want to pitch to them by serving them before they even know what I can do, right? And I really believe in that. I really believe in kind of helping people where you can. And I believe that, serving them, it'll come back to you. And it's hard, though it is really hard, isn't it, to find the time and the organization in your workflow to do that kind of stuff. So hopefully this gives you a place to do that. So now we've gone through goals. We've got content. This is another one of my favorite sections. And at the top of the page here, we've got your content capture schedule. So again, kind of thinking about your week and where do you actually find the time to do things? I know that as a busy small business owner, there is no time. So mapping out your filming day, your editing day, your planning day, your batching day, your finance Friday. Like we said, if it doesn't get planned, it doesn't get done. So let's get it planned. Let's get it done. And then we move into content. I mentioned that as part of this document, we have the entire of 2025 done for you. Let's see what we've got in here. Oh, maybe we haven't got it mapped out yet. We've still got it here for 2024. So I've got to work on this, a little bit of homework for me. I've got to zhuzh up all this timing and shift it to 2025. But essentially, we've got the entire year mapped out with content for every single day. So looking at it like this, we have all the special days of the year mapped out here. So things like Valentine's Day, have obviously Easter, have, all those kind of days that can take you, take you by surprise if you're not looking at them properly. We have them mapped out in here and we have specific ideas of how you could use them as a business owner. So for example, on January the 17th, here's a video idea for you. It's an origin story. You can tap into here. And like I said, I've got to update these dates, but it would be share your business origin story. And then here's the video script. Hi, I'm so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. So it's just like, it's got something done for you. So you know what the biggest problem is day by day, thinking about what do I post today? So this section of the document gives an answer to those questions with 365 days done for you. That said, it is not about relentless productivity and toxic productivity because we all know that that leads to burnout. So throughout the year, there are these special sections of digital health that invite you to do something different that just are really they're quite specific in that they're not just like turn your computer off. They're interesting ideas that can help you unplug, unwind, connect in a different way and help keep your creativity flowing in a way that, just helps you kind of keep going. So, for example, we've got some here, create a mood board in March. Hooray. Create a mood board for your brand. Some of them here, like a phone ritual. Avoid using your phone for the first 15 minutes of the day. Just like gentle reminders throughout the year of like the stuff that we said that we wanted to do that we never got around to. Try a new lunch recipe. Just kind of in amongst while you're looking at what to post, we've got kind of ideas. And so I hope you can see how we've got different types of posts. We've got videos, obviously. We've got connection posts. We've got milestones, which are, the year, special days of the year, Ramadan, International Women's Day. And we've also got, what have we got? I think that's pretty much it, just 4 types of posts there. So the connection quotes are like pretty basic stuff that you would know. The prompt here is, a powerful quote your audience can relate to. The AI prompt is here, and then the example is here as well, and then I've given kind of an example post here that you can look at on my account to see, okay, how did Jay do this? What does it look like? I could easily do that type thing. So hopefully it's quite useful for you. Like I said, I've got the whole year mapped out. I just need to shift the dates, which I will do. And so we've got that as calendar view, and then we've got it as task view, which is cool. And then we've got it as PDF as well. So we've got the January here, February. If you're like a color coded person, you like to see things, you could print this out. You could put it on your computer, on your monitor, or near your desk, where it would map out the kind of specific dates and milestones that are coming up that day. So pretty useful there. And then what have we got over here? We've got, oh yeah, we've got this document here. So a repurposing content tracker. Again, like repurposing, reusing, recycling is one of my goals for the year. How do we do that? Well, we need to have a place to document our good performing content. So we've got a top performing content library here. You can add your content in here page by page. You can tell me which platform it performed well on. And again, the purpose of this is to really give it to someone else so they can take what you've done well. You could chuck it into our repurposing tool and you could get them using it again. But unless you kind of document that content outside of the platforms, you will never be able to reuse it and rescramble it again. So for me, this process of building this second brain, coming right back to what we said at the start, it's a long-term process. And I'm investing in this now, knowing that this is going to be a process I'm going to do for the next few years to build out a resource, a digital resource that I can then use years going forward. And for me, this is 100% worth it. I finally come to the realization. I know other people have come to this realization sooner than me, but I've come to it in that I really want to start repurposing what I'm doing and starting to make it more accessible throughout my ecosystem. So it's a big focus for me. Marianne says, a great session and awesome to see everyone. Happy New Year to you and see you all soon. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you for being here and thanks for your enthusiasm. Always, we appreciate you. And finally, we're at the final section of this document is the resources section. It is very much exactly what you think it is your password vault. So you can put in your passwords here. Again, not just so like you have a second place for your passwords, but so you can then delegate them to someone else. We all know that for you to step into your role as a CEO for your business, you're going to have to start delegating tasks to another resource. That could be a friend and family, that could be an offshore VA, that could be a local VA, but this gives you a way to share those passwords so they don't need access to your big main Google Drive. You can start to give them access here in your password vault. We also have Canva templates in here. So I mentioned that all of these pages, they're completely customizable. You can and should put your own words here that are meaningful to you, that you want to see all the time. And you can do that using these templates here. For example, if you have a specific word of the year, and Lily, I'd love to hear yours, you can go into this section here and you can open up the word of the year and you can edit the template, and then you can either use one of these words if this is your word of the year, or you can edit it to make your own word of the year. And that means your word will display fully on the homepage without flicking through the way that it's doing now. So if your word is empower, balance, thrive, bridge, a whole bunch of different words here, but also options for you to choose the word that you want. We've got social templates in here. Obviously in Small Business Growth Club, you get access to a whole range of templates. I've got them all. That doesn't look like the right template. Small Business Growth Club. That must not be linking to the right template. Let me just make sure and update that for you. Let me just go to Canva and I'll grab it for you. Good to do this together so that we can see that the templates are okay. My word is connection. I may add another around productivity. Is this really safe to hold passwords? Lily, I would say not put your banking passwords in there. I would say use it to put passwords that you can delegate to others. So for example, I would put my Canva password in there. I don't think that's connected to any kind of precious or financial information. I just mean so that you can then give access to your Canva to your VA or your assistant who's working on it for you. I would say thinking of it for tools like that rather than anything intense. Let me know if that kind of connects with you. Now, I was thinking here it's the 50 instant growth templates. So let me just make sure I've got the right link here. And here is the document here. So we've got the 50 instant growth templates are... Has anyone else found that Canva search is like really bad currently? Like it's starting to get increasingly harder to find the stuff that you actually built on Canva. I'm finding it really hard, as you can see, as I'm going through this, and I can't find the 50 instant growth template kit, which I totally searched for it on the homepage. So I'm going to share this. We're going to share it as a template. So I'm going to share the template link. I'm going to make sure it's in the document, create template link. And this should be here. This is very much the 50 Canva templates. Yes, there it is there. And I'm just going to make sure it's in the resources section under this part here. So that should have been correct. Yep. There we go. It goes to the growth templates. Good stuff. And the other templates would be the same. And then a bookmarks. So you can bookmark your, any reports that you're getting. Like I said, I'm starting to get reports, information that I want to use on LinkedIn to showcase my thought leadership, bookmarking them here so I can come back to them so that those links are not just stored inside my notes, but they're actually in a place that I can search, that I can reuse, repurpose, and connect to other things going forward. So each of these little lines in the table is actually a page that then has its own content that you can use to store information and also search that information going forward. So it's not just dumped in a notes folder. It's actually kept somewhere that you can use and come back to. So that is pretty much it. We have gone for a while now with our best year ever ultimate planner. Let me know how this works. Lily says, thanks. Was just thinking for using it at home too with hubby. Yeah, great idea, Lily. Yeah, having that central place, right, that you have everything, I think is really useful. And yeah, sharing those templates, like, otherwise, you can use LastPass to share templates or Password One. Like again, you end up having these like 15 million different tools that you need the passwords for to get into the passwords. Whereas I'm just like, it's in Notion. Like if I'm delegating to any member of my team, the answer is it's in Notion. Like whatever you need, the Canva template's in Notion, the password is in Notion, the SOP and the procedure of how to do the thing is in Notion. It's all in Notion. So I can almost just hand it to someone a bit more easily rather than having to say, oh, here's the link to Canva, here's the link to the Google Doc, here's the link to, whatever element it is. It's all here and searchable for them inside Notion. So Nicole says, does Sarah help set the Notion templates page structure for people asking for me? Yes, she does. So it's Allison who does that. Allison sets up dashboards. So Allison is the person who set up all my dashboards. So this is our SBGC team dashboard, and all of this stuff that we do is in here. She set this dashboard up for me and she's incredible. The dashboard is amazing. I like the goal tracking in here is incredible. All the different kind of projects that we're collaborating on is in here. And the great thing about Notion is it's always rolling out new functionality. So recently Notion rolled out the functionality to have forms embedded in Notion, which is really exciting. So, for example, if you want to work with me in my mastermind, which I would love to mention, you would be taken in an intake form via Notion. So here it is here, for example, this is the mastermind for 2025. It's all built inside Notion. I don't know why I've got so many mosquitoes just suddenly constantly around me. Anyway, here is the application form for the mastermind. And inside here is a form that goes directly into Notion. So again, it's replacing Google Forms, Typeform, Google Forms, way too many tools. Who cares? Let's have it all in the one place. So it has the Google form. Obviously, you can set it up nicely. It also has the ability, like this is a website, right? This is a fully functional website. So I can just give people this link and they can go straight to this page. So again, I see a lot of small business owners, smart small business owners who are using Notion as their onboarding, as their intake. They're using it to take people's cash because obviously you can embed Stripe links in here. You can embed videos in here. It is a fully functioning website, web creator. It just happens to be this productivity tool at the same time. How do you create docs in here instead of Google Docs, Word, etc.? So Lily, every single element you create in Notion, and I highly recommend checking out the Notion tutorials that Marianne said in the beginning of the chat. So yes, says Lily, landing pages. Exactly. That's exactly what this is. This is a landing page, but it's built inside Notion. So Allison built this for me from scratch. But of course, like when you look at it, so I'll share it with you guys in the chat because I want you to come and join the mastermind. When you look at it, it's a mastermind application. It's a website, right? You would never know that it was built in Notion, and that's what it is. It's built in Notion. It really works for us. Is that link clickable? For some reason, it's not making it clickable for me. But anyway, I'm assuming that it's clickable for you. It's just such a, like I said, this is a really multifunctional tool. And when you start to look around at other kind of one woman shows, you'll start to see a lot of them are starting to use Notion as their landing pages, as their forms, as their website, because it's so easy to whip up pages just like you would a Word document or a Google document. That's how easy it is. So in terms of how do you create a Word document, each one of these little pages is a kind of Word document. So you go in here and you say open, and this is like a little document in itself. So it's got these kind of header sections. It's got every element of the page. You can just write stuff. You can select text and then choose to change the headings and the formatting of it, just like you would a Word document. And that's the power of Notion. It lets you have that customization. Missing the start of the link. Thank you. Thank you for that. It wasn't quite working because thank you. Let me see here. Mastermind application. Thanks, Nicole. Sorry, it wasn't working previously. Hopefully it will work now. There you go. So yeah, for example, for the mastermind, I'm not launching that to the public. It's only available to Small Business Growth Club members. So I don't need to build this massive page with like videos and graphics and like, it's not for that purpose. I can build it like a Word document and then I can share it with you. And you can put in your payment details. And all of a sudden that is so much faster and so much more nimble than having to upload 5 like visuals and, all the sales page and all that kind of stuff. Yes, that's appropriate sometimes, but obviously the faster and quicker you can create a landing page, that you can create a form, and the kind of central place you can have it all coming back to, the easier it is going to be for you, and the easier it is for you to work across maybe a distributed team where you have, maybe you have a VA come on board 1 day a week and they help you with stuff. Well, if it's all in Notion, then the answer to every question is just going to be it's in Notion, which simplifies things so much. So Francis says it's not working. It's not clickable. I know, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm such a dum dum. I put the wrong thing there. So let me know. We've gone on for a long time this afternoon. Let me know your questions about Notion, because I really want to understand this through beginner's eyes. I think sometimes, last time I presented this, a lot of people just got a bit of shell shock. Like a lot of them were just like, whoa. I hope that you can see that Notion at its core can be like a Word document, if that's what you want it to be. It can just be a series of pages, just like Google Docs. And remember when you first started Google Docs, how discombobulating it was, how difficult it was to kind of get your head around it. I definitely remember having a 3-month learning curve with Google Docs that took me a while to kind of figure it out. And I would just say, Notion, I've got these mozzies. It's just Mozzie Town in here. It's because I'm not in this room very often. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm sure you can see them all. It's so embarrassing. Notion is like Google Docs. Notion has a learning curve with it. I would say give yourself time and grace. Marianne shared an incredible tutorial, and there are tons of tutorials online sharing Notion and why it's good. And also give yourself permission to not like it. If you don't like it, if it doesn't work for you, please take what elements do appeal to you and leave the rest. I am not about evangelizing or pushing something down people's throats if that's not what you want. It just happens that this is a good tool for me and for many others. For me, I really think of it like the productivity version of Canva. We all know how popular Canva is. We all know how revolutionary it's been for small business owners who struggle to get that graphic design stuff done quickly and easily. And I would say Notion has that same power. So I've just shared the tutorial that Marianne recommended in the chat. It's like a 2-hour video that you can go through, but there are plenty of others that recommend it also, that really like it. So thanks, Jade. I have stuff all over the place. Now is the time to fix it, and this looks like it can. Yay, Lily. I'm so glad you can see the power of it. And I think that's a really good way to look at it. This is my one productivity tool to rule them all. I think that's a really great power of Notion. And also, the back of your mind, it can be thinking, okay, if I can use this and I can make it useful, how could I then use it to generate an income for me by selling useful elements of it to my audience? Again, it could be recipes, it could be formulas, it could be kits, it could be ebooks, it could be learning stuff. Like I said, all parts of Notion can be then templatized and sold off as independent revenue streams in just the same way that I've created this template for you. So hopefully it opens up new revenue opportunities for you. And that is always what I'm thinking of for you. I'm not just shoving chores onto your list or tasks. I'm thinking of giving you tools that are going to make you money. I think that's really important. Thanks so much. I'm going to work slowly at building it up. 100%. I love that, Francis. Please have a look and please think about what elements you could use. I look forward to seeing how you guys use this. And like I said, please don't think you have to adopt all of it at day one. This planner tool is the biggest Notion thing I have ever built. I hope that maybe one element could be useful for you. Maybe you can come back to it during the year. Maybe some of it is useful. Maybe all of it is useful for you. Maybe you want to put up, that client tracker. That for me is like the most useful thing, because I really need to keep those people top of mind as I'm doing my work, rather than letting them get forgotten, because that's what happens to me. If it's not a client job, I just don't do it. Whereas the lead tracker element of it helps me keep those leads top of mind with visuals, photos of them, helps me package up their job and helps me progress through the job, rather than just thinking, forget about those people, which is so easy to do when they're just in your email. So hopefully there's an element of this that is useful for you. As always, I'm always around. I will be sharing more of this throughout January. We're having our productivity reset. I want to make this useful for you. And I think as well, my job needs to be to break this down into small little digestible chunks so that you don't feel overwhelmed. It should never be overwhelming. It should be small bite-sized bits as you need it. But I love the way that Lily was thinking of, I've got everything scattered all over the place. Wouldn't it be cool if I was able to collate it all? And I really do think that is the future of monetization, of revenue, of income, is having all your information in one place. I know that we are using these few tools. I recommend ChatGPT, I recommend Notion, I recommend Canva, and, I recommend Instagram if we're going to choose one, but I don't, no Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. I recommend these small suite of tech tools because I think they can really perform for you and help you earn more money. Sustainable income is the name of the game. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm always around. Look forward to seeing you more in January. We have a co-working session set up at the end of January for productivity, for planning. We will probably go through this tool again because it's so useful. It's so big. And I really look forward to hearing your questions and your way of using it and any challenges that you face so that I can help you with that throughout January. Until then, I'll see you around and thank you so much for today.